All right, hello everyone, and welcome to today's video. This video is Genshin Impact version 4.0 Phase 1 test run. And we'll get to the new characters in just a little bit, but first I want to cover the characters that we already know. Just a review for anyone who has forgotten. So, because I'm not going to do these. So you got two four-star characters that I think are really. Um, One of them is a can't miss on my list, and one is a can't miss on just about everyone else's list. So we'll start with Barbara. Barbara, if you've seen some of my uh, videos before, you know that I believe that Barbara is the best healer in the game. You get her for free. Her C6 allows you to revive one character every 15 minutes. That can really help you in the spiral abyss. If you, um, like I said, you unlock her for free by completing the prologue. You don't necessarily have to pull her on this banner because you can also get her from Paimon's Bargains twice a year. Although I really do recommend that you get her to see Builder because honestly, if you build her right, you have a character that will not let you die. You it really takes a lot to overload. As far as what she requires, she does need to the boss drops from the Oceanid in Liyue. It is a bit of a annoying boss, and it can be difficult for early players. But keep in mind that you actually can bring Barbara with you to keep to heal you because everything's going to be covered with water anyway. So what does it matter that she applies hydro because she's going to be applying hydro to characters who already have it. All the uh, all the mimics are going to be hitting you with hydro anyway, so it really does. It's I as long as you just bring ranged characters, the Oceanid isn't terribly difficult. Um, uh, Aside from that, there really isn't that much that she needs that is particularly difficult. The Ring of Boreas comes from the Great Wolf Weekly Boss, which again can be a little bit annoying for early characters, but it's not too bad. And I don't think you're going to ever really need to level up her talents to the moon. Uh, I don't even have her talents up to 9, and I get her, um, and she heals my characters with in nothing flat. Um, the recommended weapon is Throwing Tales of Dragon Slayers, unless you are taking her into co op. If you're taking her into co op, just give her some other HP weapon that gives you something that will actually work in co op. Even the Throwing Tales doesn't really do anything in co op as far as its passive. But otherwise, that's the weapon that she should have. She is a healing support. And for that reason, the recommended artifacts that I give you are Maiden Beloved and Ocean Hued Clam. Either one works just as well. If you have Maiden Beloved already, you don't have to switch over to Ocean Hued Clam. If you are building Ocean Hued Clam for her, it'll work just as fine as Maiden's Beloved, except it will give a little bit. She'll actually do some damage, whereas her if you're stacking everything into HP, which is what you should be doing, um, she's not going to do that much. But that's for the best. So, and like I said, for Barbara, you need to get her to C6 to really get that full healer support capability. For Bennett, uh, it's I'll get to his constellations at the near the end of what I'm saying, because I know a lot of people might be thinking about what I think about Bennett's constellations. The Pyro Regis line is definitely a lot easier to handle than the Oceanid. Um, you just bring you do elemental reactions to it, goes down easy. Um, Again, nothing that he requires to ascend or to build his talents is particularly hard. The Valen's Plume. The Valen is the easiest weekly boss in the game, so you'll have that over Barbara. Now, the recommended weapon, I think Bennett works best as a support. So I am listing a Kia Favonia as his recommended weapon. It is a 5-star weapon, so if you don't have it yet, you can probably use just about any other energy recharge, maybe elemental mastery. Go for one of those. Any support weapon will be fine for him. Um, and he is a noblesse oblige user. Basically, give him that set. If someone else has that set, give him that set, and you'll be just fine. So, as for if you want to make him a DPS, I know a lot of people do, then give him a crit weapon and Crimson Witch of Flame. But I think support is better off for him myself. As for constellations, um, the big thing that everyone keeps talking about is that you should not C6 Bennett. Um, I think that is partly true and partly not. There are some things that Bennett can do, uh, and C0 to C5 that he will cease to be able to do once he gets to C6. On the other hand, C6 actually does unlock a lot of potential for him. It all depends, and but what comes down to is his burst, the Fantastic Voyage. If he has C6, he'll infuse a lot of characters' weapons with pyro, which is great if it's a character that does a lot of pyro damage. Bad if it's a character that relies on physical damage, like Eula. So know that if you level him up to C6, that you will lose that potential. But and for some people that is like crossing the Rubicon, and so people just don't do it. But on the other hand, I have seen what his C6 can. It does. It is insane. So I would say if you've learned the old fashioned way, that the pre Sumeru way of using Bennett's burst, then just stick with that. You'll eventually get a C6 and you'll never claim it. There'll be just one red exclamation point in your menu that will never go away. On the other hand, if you haven't learned that way, just get a C6. You'll learn how to use that, and it will be just. Don't worry about it. It's not the end of the world if you see six. Um, then we have our rerun 5-star Yelan. Um, so she requires the snake in the chasm, and keep in mind that does not drop the gems that she needs. It will drop something else. So you'll need to dust a vase off that to the hydro gems. And again, nothing, even her, nothing much as far as her ascension materials are that particular. You probably picked up a bunch of star conscious without even it. So. And if you haven't, just walk along the shores of Liyue, you'll find plenty. No time flat. The Gilded Scale comes from Ajdaha, and that is unlocked after Chapter 1 is done. You have to complete Zhongli's first story quest in order to have him locked. So, so early on, Yelan's going to be a little bit tough to to build past level 6, but if you've already gotten past chapter 1, good to go. Her signature weapon is the Aqua Simulacra, which is a crit damage bow. Um, what I normally recommend is when they have a signature weapon that is a particular substat. If you don't have that, just get a 4-star weapon that is of the same substat. That way, you don't have to redo your artifacts when you get to their signature weapon. Um, so I believe it's Blackcliff is the only bow that is crit damage, but there are some other 5-star bows that are crit damage, including one I'll be talking about later. Um, and her best artifact set is 8. That is because of her high energy requirement. Keep in mind that you will have to stack HP in order to use her appropriately. A lot of people go into more detail about that than I'm going to. But anyway, that is, and also keep in mind that Ocean Hued Clam and Emblem of Severed Fate are now both available in the strong boxes. Maiden Beloved and Noblesse already were. So, okay. So let's go on to Lynette. Lynette's elemental skill allows her to execute an Enigma thrust dealing animo damage. The skill is held, Lynette will enter a high speed pilfering shadow state. Release her Enigma thrust when the state ends. By using her elemental burst, Lynette will summon a Boggle Cat box to confront and attack nearby opponents. These when the Boggle Cat box comes in contact with certain elements, it'll change colors and fire vivid shots that deal damage from the corresponding element. Additional, and then, okay, so see who they're pairing her with. She's paired with Fischl Shangling. Okay, they're giving her kind of a mixed. Um, so let's see what her. The normal attack looks normal. Enigmatic Feint, which is her skill. Flicks her mantle and executes an Enigma thrust, dealing animo damage. The Enigma thrust hits an opponent, it will restore Lynette's HP based on her max HP. Healer. Know that. But it it only but she only self heal. Okay. And in the 4 seconds afterwards, she'll lose a certain amount of. Wait. It Okay, so it restores her HP, and then in 4 seconds afterward, it takes it. Based on whether you press or hold this ability, she'll use Enigma Thrust differently. Press, she swiftly uses an Enigma Thrust. Hold, Lynette will enter a high-speed pilfering shadow state and apply shadow sign to a nearby opponent. Slow her movement direction using the state, and you can end it prematurely by using this. This high speed state ends, Lynette will unleash her Enigma thrust. There's an opponent with shadow sign applied to him nearby. Lynette will approach them in a flash. Maximum of one opponent can have shadow sign at any one time. When this opponent gets too far from Lynette, shadow sign will be canceled. At specific intervals, Lynette will unleash a surging blade when she uses Enigma thrust, dealing Oisa aligned animo damage. Don't know what that last part. Okay, so Enigma thrust hits an opponent, it restores her HP. So okay, so when it so she gets 25% of her HP back, then she loses 8 times 4 seconds afterwards. Okay, just 4 ticks down. So it goes 25% up and then essentially 24% down. That's, I don't know. I'm not sure about that. I, I I really don't like skills that you have to sacrifice HP for. I got pretty good at cookies, but this looks kind of weird. Um, all right, well let's take a look at her burst. Lynette raises her mantle high, dealing AoE animo damage. Skillful sleight of hands to make a giant boggle cat box. Boggle cat box taunts nearby opponents, attracting their attacks. Deals animal damage to nearby opponents at intervals, and when the Boggle Cat box comes in contact with Hydro, Pyro, Cryo, or Electro, the 4 elements you can swirl, they'll gain the corresponding element and additionally fire vivid shots that'll deal damage from that element. At elemental absorption of this kind will only occur once. That's kind of normal. Um, nothing looks particularly uh, doesn't skill anything fancy. See what her other skills. Then 10 seconds after using the burst, when there are 1, 2, 3, or 4 elemental types in the party, all party members' attacks will be increased by 8, 12, 16, or 20% respectively. So you're going to want to have her as the only character in the party, and you'll want to have everyone else be something different, which is what they're doing in the test run. So that makes a lot of that. So that makes sense. That does make sense. After the Boggle Cat box is summoned by the magical trick Astonishing Shift, forms elemental conversion, and that's elemental burst will deal 15% more damage. This effect will persist until the Boggle Cat box duration. Okay, sure. And then they covered in the preview. Uh, shows the location of recovery orbs while you're swimming, and that helps you regain stamina. And that increases by 25%. And keep in mind that if you're above a certain adventure rank, which I 5, you'll be getting her free. So pretty much everyone is going to have her at some. Hmm. Okay, so having gone through all that, man, what does she have for stacked energy recharge? Pretty. That's the first thing. Definitely has her animal damage. What was her burst? That call 70. Okay, so that. Uh so I guess that kind of makes. I don't think it needs to be that. Well, no. Maybe if this is an ESF build, not what they went for. Sacrificial sword. That's a good one for in general for support characters, which I'm kind of getting the sense that she. So that makes sense. Also, the energy recharge will help her slightly higher burst. Viridescent. Okay. Yeah, Viridescent is kind of the normal go-to for animo characters. Kind of expected to see this. I was kind of interested to see if we're gonna see something different. But yeah, this kind of makes sense. It doesn't look like they went for something particularly high as far as elemental mastery. They only went with um. But yeah, this should work fine, I guess. Um. Yeah, I can see how this might. And we have the other characters, Gladiator and Thundering Fury. So I was just kind of curious about that because I was thinking about official. But I don't think that. No, this might be okay. 4-piece Sundering Fury, I can out. I have run 4-piece, but anyway, that's fish. We're testing out. Uh, Give it a try and see what happens. Okay, so this kind of works the same.
Out of the frying pan, into the fire. Step on up.
Whoops. Now we're not isn't working particularly well. I feel like might be uh might be missing something.
Rain outlines your fate. Surprise!
Yeah, that skill is kind of a little bit difficult. All right, let's try to
Let
burst.
the magic begin!
Burst is doing the burst works pretty. I like the burst. I don't like the skill. Oh, I can I can do the burst again.
Be amazed!
It's swirling and doing a lot of damage. Well, of course, it's not going to do any damage to Electro ones. Let's just get the.
Cue the spotlight!
There we go. Now it's Pyro. Pyro hat. And there we go. Just gonna say continue challenge for now because now that I've seen this in action, I want to see our constellations. They are okay. So again, everyone's gonna get her for C0 for free. So this is just a matter of should you pull for her and manners, or should you care about her? So, this one boosts her skill. It hits an opponent with shots. So it kind of groups enemies with her skill. I don't know. I think this would have worked better if one of the characters was a better healer than Singshun. Whenever the Bogglecat box is summoned by Magic Trick Astonishing Ship, whenever the Bogglecat box summoned by the Burst fires a Vivid Shot, will fire an extra Vivid Shot. Okay, that's good. That helps the Burst, which I think is our better one. And then you get the bursts increased by 3 on C3. Then increases the ending mag faint charges by 1. That's her skill. Skill goes up by 3. Lynette uses her skill. She'll gain an Animo infusion and 20% Animo damage bonus 6. Okay, so if you wanted to make the absolute best Lynette possible, of course you need to go to C6. But if you just want her burst, looks like the burst is at full strength once you get to C3, and that's her that's the better one of these. Yeah, I'd go for I would say if you got to C3, you're probably in good shape. If you figure out a way to use the skill better than I did, go for it.
Entering standby mode.
All right, let's get out. Okay, so just so you know, I do not have a stat uh, box for the new characters. For the most part, I think might be understandable why. Even if I had all of the information in front of me of what they need to level up, I know what some of them are because you can kind of derive that from. Uh, but it's not gonna matter to anyone. 'Cause most of the stuff is just in Fontaine. But she actually, one of the things she needs is going to be from the Clockwork Mecha, which is one of uh, the new enemies that we're going to see in game. Um, whereas Lyney, who are going to, is it Lyney? Lyney? I forgot. I'm going to say Lyney for now. Hopefully that's right. But yeah, compared to Lynette, he requires Fatui uh, loot, which probably, if you've been keeping up with the story, you probably have plenty of. Let's give him a shot. And yeah, I can see that you probably want to build Lynette as a kind of like a split between what we would normally do as an animo support and just went past that. That's okay. I'm just gonna read the tell. Okay, so what have we got? Um okay, so he's an archer, so a lot of this is probably normal. Well, actually, charged attack is charged attack. That'd be something I need to talk about. Charge level 1 fires a pyro infused arrow, dealing pyro damage. Charge level 2 fires off a prop arrow that deals pyro damage, and upon hit, summons a Grin Malkin. Firing a prop arrow and Lyney has more than 60% HP, he'll consume a portion of his HP and obtain one prop surplus stack, or consuming HP. Maximum of 5 stacks. The effect will be removed after his character spends 30 seconds out of combat. Lowest Lyney can drop through this method is 60. Okay, so he can't go lower than 60% by using his charged attack. Still, I don't like sacrificing uh, uh, HP. So Grim Malkin Hat taunt nearby opponents and track their attack. Each opponent can only be taunted by the hat once every 5. Fact, hat will inherit a percentage of Lyney's max HP. If destroyed or if its duration expires, it will fire off a pyrotechnic strike at one nearby opponent, dealing pyro damage. The one hat can exist at any given time. Certain intervals, prop arrow will cause spirit breath storm to assist. Um, HP cost is 20% of his maximum. That's a lot. All I gotta say is this better be worth it. um, skill. Lyney does a flourish with his hat, unleashing a firework surprise. Used, he will clear an all current prop surplus stacks and deal AoE pyro damage to opponents in front of him. Damage will be increased according to the stacks cleared, and this will also regenerate Lyney's HP based on his map. Grim Malkin Hat, created by Lyney, is on the field. The fireworks will cause it to explode, dealing AoE pyro damage equal to that of the pyro strike. This damage dealt through the Grim Malkin Hat in this way is considered charged attack. So the HP regeneration is 20% per stack. The skill damage bonus is 85.1% of it. I like the skill. The skill kind of resets your all the damage that you caused to him through the charge. Pull down 50. Okay. Then his burst unleashes his magic. Lyney turns himself into a Grin Malkin cat that can move around quickly, not to be mistaken for the Grin Malkin hats. They're different. Grin Malkin hat gets close to opponents, so flames falling down from on them, dealing at most one instance of power damage to each opponent. When the duration ends, he'll Grin Malkin cat and ignite fireworks that deal AoE pyro damage. This guy does a lot of pyro damage. Wins one Grin Malkin hat and grants himself absurd. Malkin hat can be actively canceled uh, and his passives. If Lyney consumes HP when firing off a prop arrow, Grin Malkin hat summoned by the arrow will, upon hitting it, restore 3 energy to Lyney and increase the damage dealt by 80% of his. Okay. Damage Lyney deals to opponents affected by pyro will receive the following buffs. Increases the damage dealt by 60%. Each pyro party member other than Lyney will cause the damage dealt to increase by an additional 20%. So more pyro, the more better. Lyney can deal up to 100% increased damage to opponents affected by pyro this way. And then he displays the location of nearby resources. You contain up. I don't know if anyone actually. Um, okay, so now his weapon is a crit damage weapon. Um, Damage dealt by charged attacks and for each party member with the same elemental type wielder, including the wielder themselves, gain 1 gimmick stick. For every party member with a different elemental type wielder, gain 1 theatrics. Wielder has 1, 2, or 3 gimmick stacks, attack goes up. When the wielder has 1, 2, or 3 theatric stacks, movement speed. I feel like this guy just wants to be on a team with lots and lots of power. We have a new one. We have one of the new artifacts. 2-piece set, normal and charged attack damage increases by 50%. 4-piece set, when the current HP increases or decreases, crit rate will be increased by 12% for 5 seconds maximum. Current HP increases or decreases, it will be. Yeah, this makes a lot of sense. I was thinking if it wasn't gonna be a new one, I was thinking Crimson Witch of Flames, but this does make a whole lot of sense for 4-piece. Wherever this set is, if you're building Lyney, this set's the one. I can tell already. Yeah, let's take a look at the constellations. Find myself. Bewildering Lights is still. Miracle Parade is the. Okay, so Lyney can have 2 Grim Malkin hats present at. Additionally, prop arrows will summon 2 hats and grant Lyney extra stack of prop surplus. Can occur once every 25 seconds. This actually boosts his charge attack. Lyney is on the field, you gain a stack of crisp focus. Stack will increase his crit damage by 20%. Maximum stacks. The effect is cancelled when he leaves the field. So this kind of feels like a DPS star right here. I guess it kind of makes sense. Increases the level of normal attack. Oh. First time I've seen a constellation increase the normal attack. So the normal attack increase. Not that you're going to go through too many of these. After an opponent is hit by Lyney's power charge attack, the power resistance will be decreased. So it's got power resistance, but it's 4. Increases the level of Wondrous Trick Miracle Parade, which is burst by 3. When Lyney fires a prop arrow, he'll fire a pyrotechnic. Still. Okay, so um, I think C1. If you're serious about using him, I think C1 is probably going to help quite a bit. Just from just based on what I've seen so far. Um, I'm not as sure. C2 probably helps too. I think C3 is kind of a sleeper. Um, are you going to? Is Lyney going to be worth it to bring up to C3? Not sure, but you could. I but I would make sure that you really really like this character before going up to. Um, Considering that we're talking about a 5-star. But C1 I could see being pretty valuable. So if you are pulling for him and you can go for so I have a feeling I'm going to talk about the weapon banner later, but I I wouldn't necessarily sleep on the weapon banner. Okay, so who do we have today? So he's got Kuki, Changling, Bennett. So he's got 3 pyro, so it's 3 pyro, 1 electro, which those works. There's the hat. There we go. Okay, so that works pretty good, actually. You can see that you can see the effect that is having. Bad. Okay. Fired off to kill there. Didn't really see too much. Yeah, that works pretty good. You'll really kind of. It's almost kind of a blink and you miss it.
A round of applause.
Yeah. That's fine. This works pretty good, I think. I just had a lot of fun with the hats, man. But yeah, that was pretty good. Um, hmm. I think you'll kind of need the skill in order to get going. I think if there's a lot of enemies, get overrun probably. I'm kind of surprised. I didn't think I would. I thought it might be good. I think this was a little bit. This is a lot better than I probably. Well, I think about this. A little bit on the fence on her, but I do see a lot of value in it. So anyway, let's take a look at the banners again. So once again, your 4-star characters, Lyney, Barbara, Bennett. Um, yeah, if you want Lyney and don't have these characters leveled up to their full constellation or full constellation as you want, this is probably a good banner to give a shot on. Yeah, take a look at the weapon banner. Um, so the thing that I notice about this, first rate magic and aqua simulacra are both crit damage, and this is what I'm going to say about this. If you have DPS archer that needs a good bow, this weapon banner might be a good one to go for. If you run the table on this twice, you're guaranteed to get one of these or the other. Might get, and you have a pretty good chance of getting one of them on just one 80 wish run. So I would say, whether if you're going for Yelan or you're going for Lynette, you're going to unlock them, then I would maybe take a stab at the weapon, see if you can get their bow. If you get the other one will probably work pretty well on. Won't work perfectly, but it'll work, I think, pretty well. They work pretty well on a an archer that you might have. That's but yeah, I think that I would, if it was me. I don't know if I'm going to pull on this on this character banner or not. If I got Lyney, I would probably then try my luck with weapon banner, see if I does. Oh, I do think Lyney. I like him a lot more as far as his play style than you. Who I am frequently. Anyway, that would do it. Hopefully this wasn't a. I wish I had more information for you on what else to get, but I think this is. I think I feel like what they showed me is kind of what for the two new characters. So, but there's a lot of people out there who are smarter than me who will put out guides probably by the same time this one comes out. So be sure to listen to what they have to say, and they'll give you a lot of good information. And enjoyed this video, please consider leaving a like and subscribing to this channel. You can also follow me on Twitch as I stream Genshin Impact twice a week. Leave a comment below. Let me know what I got right. Let me know everything I got wrong. I get things wrong all the time. And yeah, that will do it. I will see you in the video.